Check it out. Child's Play 2, the Novelization. Chapter 8. Shit, Matson thought. Oh, shit! Somebody got into the car. Somebody got into the damn car. And they locked it again. And damn, oh God, I should have paid attention to the alarm. The damn alarm! What do you want? Matson said. I thought it was the doll, he thought. How could I mistake? No questions, just drive. Matson nodded. Best to cooperate with whoever it is. Best to do exactly as he says. Don't get him mad or upset, and maybe I'll get out of this thing alive. He felt the gun pressed tight against his head. Now left, up the corner. Yeah, then right, and straight. That's it, asshole. You're doing good, real good. Matson nodded. The gun followed the bobbing of his head. I said don't damn well move. You got that? The intruder emphasized his point by jabbing the gun into the back of Matson's head. Matson looked in the rearview mirror, but he couldn't see anything now. Nothing. He just felt the gun. They left the city, and the guy with the gun directed him into the suburbs, a blurry vision under the torrents of rain. Maybe he just needed a ride, Matson thought. Maybe that's all he needs, a ride someplace, and then he'll let me go. I'll still be able to go see Lisa. Matson took a breath. All right, the strange voice hissed. All right, slow down. He's looking at the house, Matson guessed, checking the numbers, and Matson was tempted to turn around and look at his captor. But that might make him mad. I don't want to make him mad, he thought. I'm close to getting out of this, Matson thought. Real close. Just gotta hang in there. Just gotta... Okay. Now drive up the block. Up there. You see that church? Matson started to nod, but caught himself. Yes. Pull into the parking lot. The parking lot? Matson saw that it was dark, deserted. No AA meeting tonight, no church supper, no bingo. Even the church itself was all dark. God was out of town. And stop! The voice hissed at him, close to his ear. Matson stopped his car. There was only the sound of the rain and thunder. No pitter-patter, but a savage whipping sound. Put your arms behind the seat. What? The gun swung around a bit and jabbed at Matson's cheek. Do it! Matson did as he was told, letting go of the wonderful security of that steering wheel. He brought his hands behind the seat. More! The voice yelled. Stretch your arms around. Then Matson started shaking. What's he gonna do to me? He wondered. Oh, God, what is he gonna do to me? He heard a crinkling noise and the sound of toys being moved around. And then, very quickly, he felt his hands being wrapped around and around with the good guy Slinky. Around and around, until the coils were tight. Matson kept shaking in his seat. He tried to talk, but his throat, his lips were so dry nothing came out. He tried wetting his lips. Please, he whimpered. Please don't shoot me. I have plastic, Visa, American Express Gold Card. You can have them all. Just please. But the pistol was there, pointing at the side of his head. He could turn his eyes and see the barrel. Oh, please, he thought. Then he started to beg again, but the voice was in his ear. And bang, it said. Matson heard the trigger being pulled, and then a stream of water shot right into his eyes. And now the voice laughed, loud, uproarious laughter. And Matson started to laugh too. It's not a real gun, he thought. Oh, God, it's not real. He tied me up, and he's going to let me live because it's not a real gun. Matson was undisturbed by the other sounds he heard, the sounds of rustling plastic. One of the good guy bags was being emptied. Probably going to use it to take his stuff, Matson thought. Keep his stuff dry. Yeah, that's it. Probably. The guy was still laughing, and Matson kept laughing. It was funny. He was going to live, and here he had thought he was going to die. The sound of the plastic bag was closer. The man's strange laughing was closer. And then the bag was pulled over Matson's head, and the drawstring was pulled tight. Now Matson kicked and pulled, fighting against his seatbelt, fighting against the drawstring that closed around his neck. He screamed, and he heard the muffled sound inside the bag. He was breathing hard, pulling the plastic tight against his face. He tasted it. He tried to chew at it, to chew a hole, but there just wasn't enough slack. He sucked at it. He heard the car's back door open. He sucked again, breathing, nothing. And through the clear plastic, he saw someone running away to the sidewalk. Someone short, someone with red hair. He sucked one more time. One last time. Andy woke up. The nightmare had ended, and he saw that the door was really open, not closed like he thought it was. Open like it was supposed to be. And there was pale blue light. A night light. He still held the blanket close, but even lying flat, he could see that the toy chest was shut. If he had been home, he might have called out for his mommy. He would have asked her to sit with him in the dark, or he might have padded into her room and curled up next to her, feeling so safe next to her warm body. But he wasn't home. He reached out for the light switch. The light came on, making his eyes blink. He saw the picture of his mother on the table, right next to his bed where he had put it earlier. And he remembered that night, what Mom had said. "It happened, Andy. They won't believe us, honey. They even won't believe the detectives, because they don't want to. But you know it happened, and I know, and it won't be long before we're back together, okay?" Andy had asked.
Why won't the detective help us? Why won't he tell them what happened?
She smiled and had said that he had tried, really tried, but this separation, this temporary separation had to happen. Andy nodded and said,
Yes.
When his mother asked him whether he could be a big boy. Now he looked around the room, at the football and baseball posters, the nice color blue. He sat up and looked at the closed toy chest. Then he crept forward a bit, until he could reach down and open it. He flicked the chest open, banging the lid against the wall, and he saw the doll, Tommy. He crept forward a bit more, right to the edge of the bed, and leaned down, slowly, ever so slowly, and picked up the doll. He turned it around until he could see its face, those big eyes, that stupid smile. I hate that smile, Andy thought. Holding the doll as far away from his body as he could, he stepped off the bed and walked over to his door. Andy stopped at his doorway and leaned out and looked down the hallway. It was dark, except for a faint stream of moonlight from a small window at the end of it, and he saw the stairs leading down to more darkness. He stepped out of the pretty blue room. When he got to the stairs, he carried Tommy by one leg, dangling the doll from one hand, while his other hand held onto the banister. He stepped carefully through the darkness, and he wondered, will Tommy say something while I carry him? Will everyone hear and come running out to see what I'm doing? He made sure of every step he took, slowly, carefully guiding his feet down. I don't want to fall, he thought. Not with the doll. I might fall on the doll. I don't want to do that. He got to the last step. He turned and walked straight into the living room. It had been such a sunny room earlier that day, but now it was filled with dark, ominous shadows. For a moment he backed away, almost out of the room. The chairs crouched in the room like sleeping animals. He gathered together all of his courage and took one step inside the room, then another, and another, and another, until he could make out the shape of the big easy chair just to his left. He swung Tommy back and forth, as if he was giving him a ride, taking him for a swing. He flung the doll toward the chair. He watched it travel through the air and then land in the chair. Tommy's head flopped against one of the arms. Then Tommy turned, and without looking back, Andy ran as hard as he could, straight up the stairs, straight into his room, stopping only to shut off the light. And then, with the doll outside, he locked the door. And he waited, thinking, "At least it's out of my room. At least it's not here anymore." Kyle crept into the house as quietly as possible. No way did she want Phil to come padding down the stairs, making a big deal because she was late. Late? Does he know what century this is? Ugh! He tried to act like her father, grabbing her cigarettes and setting a curfew. It was a joke, but Kyle played along. It was better here at Chez Joanne and Phil than at the center, and much better here than in the streets. Well, not much, but better. Free food and free board while she made her plans. Made plans and earned money. Asking people whether they wanted pickles and mustard on their burgers didn't pay much, but she was able to save something. Not a lot, but something. If she could just hang in here a few months, she might have a couple $100 saved. I could go to California on that, she thought. She walked up to the carpeted stairs. The grandfather clock ticked so loudly she was sure it was masking her footsteps. Tick, tick, tick. It was an ugly old thing the size of a coffin, and every hour it noisily bonged. There were a lot of old things in this house. She had already reached her room when she thought she heard something down the hall. Maybe it's that new kid, Andy. He complicates things, she thought. She couldn't imagine that dear old Phil and Joanne would care about keeping her, what with a cute little boy running around. She might have to be on her best behavior, and wouldn't that be disgusting? She shrugged, hearing nothing, and continued on into her room. Chucky crouched behind the mailbox. The rain had soaked his striped t-shirt and coveralls, which now stuck to his plastic skin like shrink wrap. But there it was, he saw, right there, just across the street. Andy's new home. My new home, Chucky thought. A car roared up the street, sending a spray of water slicing out toward him. He ducked behind the mailbox. There are advantages in being this size, he thought. Definite advantages. No one sees you, and it's great for slashing at people's legs, cutting them just behind the knees, or severing their tendons. That brings the big guys down pretty quick. He stepped away from the mailbox and, checking that the street was clear, ran across it. A loud crack of thunder seemed to cheer him on. He got to the driveway and saw a station wagon. That hadn't been there before, he thought. Somebody had just come home. No problem, he thought. I can be quiet. He was walking alongside the car, near the front of it, when he heard movement, then tapping sounds, a growl. A monstrously large German shepherd leaped out, barking and snarling at him. Chucky froze. He could tear me into pieces, he thought. He could bite my doll body and cut me right in two, and I don't have anything to fight him off with. The German shepherd sniffed the air. Then it took a step closer to Chucky. Chucky smiled. Hey, he thought, he's confused. Doesn't quite know what to make of me. I'm not a human, and I'm not a raccoon, so what the fuck am I? The dog stopped. Chucky saw the rain splatter its blackish snout. He saw a recognizable glint in the big dog's eyes. It was a look that Chucky knew well. It was fear. Okay, Chucky said. You want me? Here I am. He took a step closer to the dog, stretching out his doll hands. They were strong, those little doll hands, amazingly strong. As he walked, Chucky pictured himself leaping on the dog's back and riding it while he pulled tight around its neck and tighter until the stupid animal was dead. Chucky took another step. He made his eyes click open and shut. Here I am, he whispered. The dog moaned. It scratched at the ground and backed away. It snorted, turned, and bolted toward the back of the house. What a pussy, Chucky thought. He glanced up at the side of the house. He saw a rose trellis that looked almost like a ladder. Maybe I can climb up the trellis, he thought. Right up to a window on the second floor. Yeah, and maybe the whole thing will come ripping off the walls, he thought, and I'll go flying on my little rubber ass. There has to be an easier way, he thought. He kept walking down the driveway, looking for a better way inside the nice Simpson house. Then he discovered that someone had left the back door open. Kyle pulled her nightgown over her head, and damn it, she heard a sound again. It came from outside, a growling and barking sound. Probably just the dog from next door, a big animal that the neighbors put out each night as if it were a cat. She pulled her hair through the nightgown and went to the window. It was still raining hard. She saw the station wagon in the driveway, but she didn't see anything else. It's probably nothing, she thought. But then she heard a real sound, a scream, from right inside the house. Okay, Slashaholics, this has been Chapter 8 of Child's Play 2, the novelization. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far as much as I am. One of my favorite kills in the entire movie just took place with Madsen in the car. Such a cool little part in the movie when it was just a water gun. Amazing, loved that scene. I enjoyed the scene with Chucky and the dog. You know, that's something else. That was pretty cool. And I just love how we're getting into the heads of Andy and Kyle and Chucky and all these other characters, because you can't get that in the movies, you know. And I really enjoy that aspect of these novelizations, especially when the author adds a few things, you know, and doesn't write like a word-for-word novelization of the movie. That being said, yeah, tonight's chapter, in my opinion, was great. I loved the flashbacks to Andy and his mom after the events of Child's Play 1, how they explained how the detective had tried to help, tried his best, and how the mom saw the writing on the walls, you know, that they were going to be separated. She probably realized that as soon as the shock wore off a little bit from that night, knowing that nobody was going to believe him and everything. But yeah, guys, please drop a comment below. Let me know how you're doing out there. I hope everybody's safe. I love you all. I wish you all the best. Be careful. Stay home if you can. And, it's going to take time. But we're going to get past this. I really know we will. I don't know when we will, but I know we will. And I just hope you guys are okay out there. But yeah, I love talking to you guys. And right now is the best time to just be able to discuss these books in the comment section. Please, guys, if you got the time and you did enjoy tonight's chapter, drop me a comment down below and let's discuss the book a little bit, or just chit chat, catch up with each other. And yeah, I'll see you very soon with more of Child's Play 2. Until then, this has been your friendly neighborhood 80s slasher librarian saying thanks for listening, and who let the dogs out? Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you